What's going on, guys? Lindsay from L&J here, and we are going to be talking about dog shows today. We are not going to be talking about Scooby-Doo or Bluey. We are talking about kennel clubs and conformation. Yes, like the dog show that is televised on NBC around Thanksgiving. If you haven't watched the movie Best in Show, then you are missing out. It is a great, lighthearted representation of dog shows, and it's pretty accurate. Unfortunately, there is a lot of misinformation about dog shows out there, and knowledge is power. People have been trying to preserve dog breeds for over 100 years, but it didn't happen overnight. Dog shows have really evolved and grown into what they are today. The world's first officially recognized dog show was held on June 28, 1859 at a town hall in England. June 4th, 1874 was the first recorded dog show in the United States, before there were any rules or kennel clubs involved. Before we can even scrape the surface of dog shows, we need to talk about kennel clubs. A kennel club is an association of dog fanciers concerned especially with advancing the interests of one or more breeds of dogs, usually by establishing standards, providing competitions, and recording pedigrees. Most countries have their own main parent club. Some will argue that the United States has two, the AKC and the UKC. The AKC, or American Kennel Club, is a non-profit organization that was founded in 1884. 14 years later, the UKC, or United Kennel Club, was formed as a for-profit organization. Both kennel clubs were created with the stated intent of promoting purebred dog breeding and showing while maintaining the documented lineage of the breeds that they recognize. They also both put on events for conformation, obedience, and agility. Conformation is about the structure of the dog and how they're put together and how they move. Obedience is how well the dog listens to commands, and agility is about how accurately and quickly a dog can compete an obstacle course. However, they are very different kennel clubs. If you attend an AKC dog show, you're gonna see people wearing business attire, professionally groomed dogs, and even paid professional dog handlers. Professional dog handlers are paid people who work with multiple breeds and are experts in the showmanship of dog showing. They take their jobs very seriously and can make dog showing more difficult for the average Joe dog owner. Let's be real, it's like playing basketball against LeBron James. Yeah, you might win, but probably not because it's LeBron James. In the UKC, things are much more relaxed. People will even show dogs in jeans, which is unheard of in the AKC. On the UKC website, they specifically say, "The United Kennel Club prides itself on its family-oriented, friendly, educational events, welcoming both purebred dogs and dogs of unknown ancestry." The UKC's emphasis on the owner, handler, breeder, and their dog creates an inclusive, fun, and educational environment. Our comprehensive event opportunities highlight dogs' instinct and heritage while encouraging the human-canine bond. Whereas the AKC website states, "At our core, in our heart of hearts, our values are ever constant. An exhibitor will always beam with pride as she stacks her dog for a big win shot. A good retrieve has always been a good retrieve. And the soulful gaze of a trusty hunting dog will always be the sportsman's sweetest reward. The deep satisfaction handlers derive from a flawless obedience routine is the same as it was in the early 1930s. Of course, the point of it all, past and present, has been to produce good dogs of sound mind and body. This will always be so. We remain true to our core mission, set forth by our founders, which was well put by William E. Buckley, an AKC president in the mid-20th century who once assembled the staff to remind them, "Always remember, we are a service organization. The dogs are not here for us. We are here for the dogs. I think these two statements both really embody each of these clubs. The AKC is definitely more of an upscale club, but the UKC makes dog shows more accessible for the average dog owner. I feel like the UKC is a stepping stone to getting into the AKC. The American Kennel Club tends to have larger shows, which often makes people value the championship titles more. However, the UKC titles can be equally difficult to achieve. The UKC offers a title called the Total Dog, which requires them to not only succeed in conformation, but also performance events. A lot of people will compete in both for a dual championship, or just because they want to participate in club-specific events. The UKC offers weight pull, where the dog pulls weighted wheeled sleds, while the AKC has rally obedience, which is more focused on the owner and the dog's relationship. Another difference between the two is that the AKC recognizes around 130 breeds. The UKC expanded its scope to cover more than 300 breeds. This makes showing in the AKC more exclusive. While both the UKC and the AKC have their positive qualities, the AKC is generally a more respected club. While I think that if you're looking at the two clubs and what their designated purpose is, promoting purebred dog breeding and showing while maintaining the documented lineage of the breeds that they recognize, they both do this. The difference comes when debating how each club achieves this purpose and the effects of that process. The AKC is thorough. The judge is looking at the structure, movement, coat, allowable colors, general looks, and sometimes the temperament of the dog when it comes to conformation. If you're unsure on what the standard of a breed is, every breed recognized by the AKC has what's called a breed standard. The standard is very specific when it comes to how the ideal version of that dog should look. It isn't about being perfect, but getting as close to that as possible. The standard is created based on the dog and the job that it has to perform. It ensures that the integrity of the dog is kept intact. The judge feels the dog and watches how the dog moves around the ring. They are focused on the longevity of the breeds, not just what is currently in front of them. With conformation, they are reviewing how the dog is put together to function. This is more important than how the dog currently performs a task. If a dog performs a task exceptionally well, but has bad hips, in a few years, they won't be performing that task at all. I don't think there is anything wrong with competing in UKC and being proud of the titles achieved. The problem is when people use the UKC titles to help boost profit margins on selling puppies. If you haven't watched my video on breeders, I'll leave a link in the description to it below. Just how unethical breeders will use fancy websites, they can often confuse ignorant pet people into thinking they are buying a dog from solid champion lines. And I'm not saying that dogs that are champions in the UKC are not solid dogs, but it is often used to confuse people when marketing dogs as champions for puppy sales, and especially with backyard breeders. If UKC shows appeal to you because you prefer the lax environment, you align with their thought process, want to do a fun sport with your dog, and you have no intention of becoming a hobby breeder, then by all means, show in the UKC and enjoy your time with your dog. If you are dedicated to preserving and furthering a breed that you love and care about, you should be showing in AKC. If a breeder does proper health testing that is recommended by the parent club and the results are good and breeds two dogs together that have championed in UKC, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As long as the intended purpose of that litter is to create a healthier version of what the dog was designed to do. Taking specific characteristics and breeding that into dogs because it's more eye-catching or aesthetically pleasing is a problem, because it isn't focusing on what the dog is bred for structurally, which can lead to health issues down the road. This is the problem with this CKC. also known as the Continental Kennel Club, not to be confused with the Canadian Kennel Club, which is also listed as CKC. Both the AKC and the UKC are dog registries at their core with proven documentation. They track the lineage of the breeds. When a dog is registered with one of these organizations, it means that the dog's pedigree has been documented and verified according to the rules and the standards of that particular registry. Registration often involves providing information about the dog's lineage and meeting certain breed standards. While the CKC is also a registry, this is not what the CKC does. You do need to have a dog that is purebred, but if you are missing documentation, the AKC will not allow the registration, whereas the CKC will at least make an evaluation and a determination based upon the information they are given. They do not offer competitions, and no other registry will work with them. Most people are largely interested in the CKC because they want a neutral third party to verify the parentage and breed of a dog, to have the confidence that the dog is what is being presented. However, without being able to track the lineage back, important health issues can be passed along in generations, potentially crippling the dog and creating a life of hardship. This is why I don't support these other kennel clubs. For individuals looking to purchase a purebred dog, it's crucial to research the reputation and standards of the specific registry associated with the dog. Reputable breeders typically register their dogs with well-known and respected kennel clubs, such as the AKC or UKC, to ensure the integrity of the breeding process and adherence to breed standards. If I had to rank all these kennel clubs, it would be AKC as the best in show, UKC would get second place, and the CKC would get disqualified, along with any other kennel club operating as a marketing tool for breeders. I will always stand by the fact that health testing is so incredibly important when you are breeding dogs. You are responsible for what you are putting into the world, so it is important to ensure that the product you are putting out is the best version of that product. That doesn't just include looks, but how the dog is structurally put together for function and longevity. I know there are a lot of people who may not agree with what I'm saying. At the end of the day, I will continue to advocate for the betterment of dogs. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with this take on dog shows and why. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Remember, be the person your dog thinks you are, be kind, and I'll see you soon.